one that I like really remember from being a kid was my mom and I used to watch Beavis and Butthead. Yes, I was in elementary school, but you know, like growing up, like nothing on TV or movies was really like off limits for me. So they always kind of treated me like an adult when it came to entertainment, and I really appreciate that. I mean, I know a lot of people make different decisions, but like I'm of the mind that like content is content and whatever. Anyways, so we would watch Beavis and Butthead, and for whatever reason, I don't even know how it started, but Dad really thought that Beavis being Cornholio was super funny. And so growing up, he would literally take his shirt. I will do a terrible impression, but he does it so good. He would take his shirt and put it over his head like this. And then he would go, I am the great Cornholio. I need to be for my bunhole. Bunhole, bunhole, bunhole. And like, he would literally do that. Like, it's not something you would ever expect him to do, would you? Right now, ask yourself. But like, he would do it all the time. And so the great Cornholio, I need TP for my bunhole, was a great inside joke.
That's when I say boo, he tickles me. When I say boo. He did that today. And hiding the way M&Ms. And that he says we're always gonna watch Tarzan. I don't really have anything that makes me laugh, but it is funny. He always says he doesn't have snacks in the car, but he does.
So the last summer of 2025, Katie and I actually stayed with Lee and Kathy for a lot of the summer as our kitchen was being renovated. And I was working a lot, and I had my computer at the antique dining room table that has the antique chairs that go along with it. And I had actually earlier that year randomly went to a wrestling event that they gave out these beautiful padded chairs. And so I randomly had it in my car, and I decided that it was going to be a little more comfortable to take that chair and sit on it for that, 6 hours at a time, 8 hours at a time that I was working. And but at the end of the night, I was always very careful to put it away, so then Lee wouldn't see that I was not using his beautiful antique chairs. Well, one night I accidentally forgot to put it away, and definitely like 5 minutes of getting up, there was a comment like, "Oh, I see you brought your own chair this time." And from then on, every time I would go sit down at this dining room table, there would be a bigger padded chair for me. And I'm like, Lee, I love your antique chairs. I just didn't want to sit on it for 8 hours at a time. So I just think it's funny that he was afraid that, for one, my comfort, but two, that he probably thinks I'm going to break his chairs one of these days.
Okay, Lee, so your wonderful daughter and my goddaughter got us to do this for your Father's Day. So my first question is the funniest memory. Probably the funniest I remember is when Dad was gone and you and I did the brakes on Mom's car out of Vance. I was pretty sure you did it wrong, but you were convinced you had it right. Hit the brakes all the way home, coming home from the Vance Hobby Shop. Man, they worked better than ever. So we get back to Mom and Dad's house, and Lee gets in the driveway, backs up, and he's going to have our mother come out and watch it. And he floors it towards the garage door, hits the brakes, and he goes in through the garage door, through the garage, and hits the wash machine and dryer. I thought for sure when my father found out my brother was dead, I'd never see him again. But that's one of the funniest memories. There are several.
Hi, Lee. Katie's asked us to answer some questions that she's sent to us and that is going to put together on a video for you. So I got Leah running the camera, and she's going to ask some questions, and I'll answer them.
Share a funny memory, story, or inside joke.
So the inside joke is in a story all in one. my dad and I and my mother went to visit Lee, and we were out cutting firewood one time, and I wasn't strong enough to swing the axe or split the wood, and Lee would tell me if I said the word Hitunga, when I hit the wood it would split. Well, what I didn't know is that he and Dad had pretty much already split the wood, and I hit it and I yelled Hitunga and the wood split. And every time I've ever picked up an axe or went and cut wood, that the word Hitunga is always used.
Hi Leland, happy Father's Day to my adopted dad. As I've gotten older, and especially now that I have a teenage daughter of my own, and I've received all those eye rolls and side eyes that teenage daughters love to give, I've realized what a gift you gave me by letting me be your second daughter. I never felt like I was imposing or overstaying my welcome. I never felt like an extra kid tagging along. You always made me feel like I belonged. And I realize now, especially now, and appreciate what a gift that was even more. This is a random memory, but it's the first thing that comes to mind. Was the day that Katie and I were playing on a big dirt pile you had out in your driveway. We were climbing all over it, we were playing on it, having the time of our lives, and you came out and you're like, girls, that's manure. And I have no idea why that memory, I've held on to it for 30 years, but every time I drive by one of those landscaping dirt piles and smell that smell, I'm like, how could we not realize that was poop? It smells like poop. I'm sure you were standing there thinking, well, I thought these girls were intelligent, but maybe not so much.
I would probably describe him as very caring. He's very attentive to everybody else's needs, and he always is looking out for everybody. I'd say he has the coolest stories ever, and that he has really cool life experiences, and he has really good advice. So if you ever needed advice, he'd be the person to go to.
I would say he's probably one of the most industrious guys I know. He's always doing something, whether it be cooking a meal, doing some kind of chore, getting a workout in, or just taking care of his family. He is one of the hardest working and just busy, but in a productive way, people that I've ever met.
I think I'll say an old, and I call him grandfather, not grandpa. Grandfather is good at showing us how he loves us. And by sometimes teasing and stuff like that.
I would describe Lee as kind, generous, very sweet, very open-minded, open-hearted, a really good listener, and wicked smart. He is currently beating me at cribbage.
I would describe Lee in many ways similar to Clara, and I would add just a real deep connection that he can establish early in a conversation. I think with his ability to show such engaged and thoughtful questions, and he has a sense of making the other people in the conversation feel that he's paying 100% attention to them in that moment, and is very thoughtful and reflective. Intuitive, yeah, intuitive is the word, and establishing trust. And it's something for me that's it's been phenomenal. Lee has shown me what a true friend is, and for that I just appreciate him immensely.
Energy. You're always moving, always working on something, always getting things done. If you sat down to rest, to watch a movie or something, there's a good chance that you'd be falling asleep very soon. Resting is not your natural state. You always seem to have a twinkle in your eye, a dad joke ready to go, and a genuine joy for life.
He's a hard worker. Getting to hear stories about how he got started in the civil service and he started out at the commissary here in Enid, Advance as a grocery bagger, and then worked his way all the way up to when he retired. You talk about coming from the ground up. I don't know that you can get any more, starting at the lowest position and finishing as high as he did in his career. Wasn't given anything, worked his way all the way up, made a lot of sacrifices as far as being away from his family here in the States, spending a lot of time in Germany, and then back into the United States with career moves, and a lot of sacrifices on his part. So very, very proud of what he did.
My dad has an awesome sense of humor. It's not something people talk a lot about first. They usually focus on how caring he is and how busy he is and focused and all those kinds of things. But legitimately, he is hysterical. He loves to be teased and he loves to tease. I just grew up having a really healthy appreciation for a good tease. One thing I love teasing Dad about is that he, if there is recommendations in a user manual for any type of maintenance, he is on it. If it's every 6 months you need to do this, every 3 months you need to do this, you need to check this 3 times, he's got it dialed in. It's by the book, following the instructions. And Ken and I just always tease him about those recommendations are really for people that are really using their stuff a lot and really living in these things. And he just takes such exquisite care of stuff that you're why would you don't need to do this. You do not need to do the recommended maintenance. I think you have a little bit of leeway.
Whenever I see Dunkers, eat them. Whenever I have some good ribs, and whenever I hear someone call their grandpa grandfather.
Anytime I'm cooking an elaborate meal, I'm thinking of grandfather, especially because in my kitchen, most of the materials, like pots and pans and knives, are all from him. And some of my favorite memories with him are cooking meals together. Anytime I like something he makes, he always sends me home with the recipe, so.
Something that always makes me think of him is Kona Coffee. The first time that we met, he was already doing me favors, picking me up from the airport and bringing me back to hang out because Sadie and her family wasn't in town yet. So he brought me back, and it was probably 8 or 9 p.m. I know it was sometime late in the evening. And after talking for a little bit, he offered me Kona Coffee, and it was his favorite. And for whatever reason, I couldn't deny coffee from him, even though it was right before bed. So we had some coffee and we talked for a while, and I'll always think of him whenever I hear about Kona Coffee.
There's quite a few things. One of the main things that comes to mind is whenever we have one of his recipes, if Mom makes his spaghetti, or we've adapted his spaghetti as well. So if we have his spaghetti or the Amish casserole, that makes me think of him. Every time we plant our garden, I think of him. I always have to send him a picture too, because I feel like he liked gardening so much and growing things that it encouraged us to do that too. And whenever I see a BMW on the road, I think of him. As well as if someone brings up Hawaii or Germany, I automatically think of Grandma and Grandpa too.
Definitely being in the gym. He and I have text messages usually the night before, and he wants to know what time I'm going to be in the gym, and so we FaceTime one another, and we just kind of catch up on what's progressed over the last since our last phone call. He's always interested in the projects that Dad and I have going on, and then we've talked about the projects that he's done around his house and around Kate's house. So that I think of him about every time I'm in the gym.
We'll go family road trips. Waking up at some ungodly hour before the sun comes up, climbing into the car half asleep, and somehow everything was already packed up and ready to go. I'm seeing now as an adult how amazing that is, how much work went into it. As a kid, you just don't realize that. Now I do. I think about sleeping through those first few hours, how nice that is. And then spending the rest of those hours listening to, that's what I call music, volume 130 on repeat or whatever we're listening to, and your endless patience with a car full of tired, grumpy people, including that one trip where I was throwing up every 100 yards or so. You always had unlimited patience, and looking back, you always made everything seem so seamless.
Growing up, whenever someone would fart, we would, if someone was getting up from one of our floor picnics and tooted, my dad would always go, I heard some geese. I heard geese. And then mom would always get into it too. And she's like, I think a flock of geese just went by. And so whenever I hear a fart, I think about my parents and saying that geese came by. It makes me laugh.
Have a donut and watch TV. Play in the pool. He lets me walk on bare feet and pick raspberries and blueberries and tomatoes. I put them in a bowl. The Yoshi pillow. There's markers that it's paint and went into it too high and it pops out. And I have regular paint that's full of colors, but they're not all with all the colors. And we need to build it. He got me the Nintendo Switch 2, and he also got us the Mario and Yoshi pillow. And he got me a keyboard, and I started doing piano lessons.
I would like to say how thankful I am for him, and every Thursday I'm super happy to go over to his house. It fills my heart with happiness, and always asking him how his day was, and of course I always like hearing that it was good, and if it's bad, that's okay too. And I love making jokes with him, goofing around, that sort of stuff, and just visiting with him. It's really sweet to see him.
Baby back barbecue ribs are my comfort food, and not just because I love ribs, I do, but because they make me feel like being at y'all's house. They make me feel loved. You used to make them when you knew I was coming over, and you made them because you knew how much I loved them, and that has always meant more to me than you probably realized. It wasn't about the ribs, but it was about, feeling at home.
Donuts! Grandfather giving me desserts. But I can pick it. And there's actually new colors, yellow and orange. I make it by myself, and I put sauce and cheese and whatever things, and pepperoni and ham on the counter. And sometimes we make it by himself. Candy place! That's where candy and my Cheetos go. And it's right next. It's in the kitchen, and there's a double door, and then you can see all the snacks. It's also a good hiding space. Also, like the secret room. That's a good hiding place. Hide and seek. Even games in the pool. I don't know. We don't call them anything. We just do games in the pool.
I get to hear stories from my dad about their parents, but getting to hear Lee's stories there's a little more detail to the story, and there's actually been some new stories that have progressed over the last few years that he and I have talked about, and they've been really easy conversations that have just kind of flowed naturally, and getting to know those memories and hear those memories from him and my grandparents has brought me a lot of joy.
So Dad actually taught me how to have an efficient assembly line, just like the Model T. When I was 10, we had a paper route, and it was cold and rainy and sleeting, and I needed help. And so Dad woke up at 5 in the morning and helped me really figure out the best way to efficiently get the papers wrapped, put in a bag, put in the satchel that we had, and then I could go out and go deliver them. And then he even put a whole bunch of additional papers on a pallet, and knew exactly where to drop them off, so that when I would run out of newspapers, there'd be a pallet of newspapers to load up with again. And it all started with him asking, "Did you know that the Ford was the first company to have an assembly line that efficiently put together cars?" So I don't know. That always made a huge impression on me, and still follows me today, to where how can we make sure that we're doing things as efficiently as possible?
Grandfather has always been an amazing host, and even when we were little, I always felt so special visiting. Now, as I'm older, I realize how much work goes into making things like that happen. Grocery shopping and cooking all the meals for everybody, getting all our beds ready, and never complaining about it is a big thing that I've never heard him complain or make us feel like an inconvenience. So he really inspires me to be a good host to others. And it's always fun to bring friends out to visit, because they are always so amazed at how special everything is.
I love you, and and love doing fun things with me. And what else? And thank you. Grandfather comes to my T-ball games. Yes.
I think the greatest impact, Dad, that you've had on my life is the way that you treat others. And I think especially this year, like, I've always admired how you have loved Mom, and how you take time to plan trips with her and to do things. But this year, just seeing how you have cared so deeply for Mom, and just the importance of true love and loving someone. So thank you.
Influenced my life. My brother has always influenced my life. I've always looked up to him, whether he's with me or not with me. He's always given me great information, great guidance, and he has always been there whenever I needed him. So that's my biggest influence on life, with my brother.
I think you set the standard for me for how people should be treated. You always made me feel like I belonged. You never made me feel like a guest. You never made me feel like an obligation. You made me feel like family. And I think you make all people, I think everyone in your life, you make them feel like they are enough by being just who they are. And that's how I want to show up for people.
Growing up, we would go on adventures all over Germany together. And my absolute favorite thing was riding on Dad's shoulders in like a German village or in a castle, and just like being out exploring, but being like specifically on his shoulders, walking around. And he carried me around a lot. And sometimes he'd get tired and he'd put me down, and I would basically like princess stomp. I would stand in front of him while he was walking and block his path and raise my arms and say like, carry me, please carry me. And he would get so annoyed. He's like, I literally have been carrying you all day. But it was like my favorite thing. I mean, there's just nothing better than being on your dad's shoulders. It's just such a, it's such a like stereotype for a reason. And I really loved it. And then growing up, when we would go to like any kind of beach, we'd go to like France, and we'd be on the beach together. He would always build sandcastles with me and like dig really deep holes until we hit water so we could use that water to build sandcastles. And, it just meant so much, especially as like an only child. Like I was just so grateful that like dad always wanted to play with me. And like mom was definitely more interested in like relaxing. But dad was always like down to like work, like to really like work on something and make something together. And then, and then he would like take a break, like an earned break and like relax with mom. So it was funny because recently we went to the beach. We went to Long Beach, Washington, and we were walking along the boardwalk, and Arthur, I'd been carrying him, and then I put him down, and he like ran in front of me and blocked my path and put his arms in the air and said, carry me. And I just had this like full circle parenthood legacy moment. And it was really sweet because dad was there. And I said, like, are you seeing this? Like, clearly this is like payback for all the times you rode with me on your shoulders. That now I have to like pay it forward to my kids. And it was just a like really cute, special moment. Like one of those like pauses in your life where you just have this like reflective moment. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. It was just really sweet and made me really happy and grateful for having such a like really sweet childhood, and I just love him so much. And anyways, the other sweet thing that happened was we went to the beach and we brought along all of our beach toys, and dad like immediately gets down with both Russell and Arthur, and he starts like digging a hole in the sand because they wanted to go get water from the ocean to make their sandcastle. And it's like, I have a way better idea. We dig a hole till we hit water. Like that's how you do it. And so he started digging and digging and digging, and then like I got out of my chair and started digging. Like we would take turns digging, and then we would put the boys in the hole and laugh about how like deep they were going down. And then finally we like hit water, and it was like such a like magic moment where everyone was like, what, look at all the water in there. And like it was just like, again, one of those full circle moments that's just like very like sweet and just special, and I really loved it. So I wanted to share that because it meant a lot to me.
We were kind of talking about trying to do this last time we visited, but Sadie and I really wanted to learn how to drive stick shift, and I would go out with the three of us and in the little red car and take it out somewhere maybe along the river or a wide open parking lot so that we wouldn't have the risk of hitting anyone, but go drive the red car and have them teach us how to drive a manual or a stick shift because we've always wanted to.
Going to a beach and went to another house. And it was actually grandfather's neighbor's house. And they was gone. Went to the beach. Make a hole in the with I helped and grandfather did it with me. Ice cream. I got a blue and purple flavor. That was cold and yummy. And sometimes I had a chocolate one.
Fun trip. We've had a couple. When he came to Cage Baseball World Series in New Mexico for 3 or 4 days was awesome. If I was going to plan a fun trip with my brother, it would definitely have golf involved, hot rod cars, and probably just a lot of time sitting around visiting and drinking a beer. would be a fun time with my brother. We don't get to do that very often, but when we do, we both enjoy it. Probably something, talk about doing a project with my brother as far as doing things that is a little different. Whenever you do a project, as I know you guys know, but as doing a project with my brother, it's always how fast we can get it done. Sometimes I got to just slow him down so we enjoy it more and we slow down and think about what we're doing. But I know Travis has experienced that a bunch, so Travis knows exactly where I'm coming from, but it's still a great time doing the projects with him.
Part of me obviously wants to say Chico Hot Springs or the Oregon coast because I have so many amazing memories of going on those trips with y'all, but I don't know if it'd feel the same without Kathy. So, I mean, if I was gonna plan a trip with you today, I would say, you know, like, come visit me in Charleston. Let me show you around Charleston. I know y'all have been here before, but let me show you around. Or let's have the Gokis show me around Germany. We could go see castles and drink beer. I don't know, make some new memories.
Definitely skiing. I learned how to snow ski in Colorado when he lived in Littleton, or not yet. It was Littleton, Colorado, I believe. So I'd never been snow skiing before, and I think Lee, I don't know how many people he's taught to ski. It's a huge amount, but if it hadn't been for him, I'd have never learned how to ski. And so if I were going to plan a trip, it would be for he and I to get on the slopes one more time together.
I recently discovered that he has never been to Disneyland, which frankly I think is a crime. I think it's wild that even being someone that like lived in California for a big chunk of their life, he's never done it. So I think it's like a thing you have to do at least once, go and experience like the adrenaline of theme parks, the magic of Disney. And so, you know, growing up, Dad always made vacations so special and planned a lot of things that I'm really looking forward to taking him on some vacations with, you know, the boys and just doing like different things that, you know, he hasn't done before because he's done a lot. So it's hard to, you know, hard to pick things that he hasn't already done. And that's just one of them that I think would be really special.
We gave Lee a cribbage board for Christmas so that we could play cribbage, and he has gone from not remembering how to play cribbage from 50 years ago to lapping us on the cribbage board. So it was a hidden skill that has now come out. Lots of fun.
One of the first times I actually went over to Lee and Kathy's house with Katie was for dinner, and we I think it was ribs or just something that, you know, that Lee really likes to make, and is obviously delicious. But I'm excited for dinner, and then we go over to the television area, and I noticed that there is a big blanket on the floor, and everyone just sits down on the ground and starts eating, and I'm like, you have this beautiful 100-year-old furniture, antique furniture that obviously means a great deal to him, and yet we're eating on the floor, and we're eating ribs, the most impractical floor picnic food there is. And I honestly, I don't sit well on floors. I just don't fold that way. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just sit on the couch and everyone else will enjoy their floor picnic, and I will enjoy that they're enjoying their floor picnic.
Well, I don't think it's exclusive to me. It's just his personality, but he's never missed a birthday. There's always been a phone call. There's always been a gift, a card. And to be honest with you, as awful as this sounds, I couldn't tell you when Lee's birthday is, but he sure shows up for mine, so I've got to work on that.
I don't know if there's many things I know that other people don't know, but one thing I do know as Katie's best friend's sister is how much I know that she loves and admires you, that you've always been her gold standard, And yeah, there were teenage shenanigans that we got up to that at the time we didn't tell you about, but that was never because she was, afraid of you or anything like that. It was just because she didn't want to disappoint you. What has always impressed me was how much she trusted you, and she trusted her mom, and she knew that you all loved her unconditionally, and she knew that you'd always be there for her, and she trusted your judgment completely. So I think that says, everything anyone needs to know about what kind of father you've been.
Lee, I just want to wish you a happy Father's Day. You got a great family, and I hope you have a great day with everybody in the family, including them little grandsons of yours. And have a great day. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Happy Father's Day, Lee, and I hope you have a great day and appreciate everything you do for us, and hope to see you soon. Love you.
We love you, Lee.
We love you, Lee.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
We love you.
We love him so much, and he is such a good grandpa.
Happy Father's Day, Grandpa.
Happy Father's Day, Grandfather. I love you when you do fun things with me. Happy Father's Day. Love you, Grandfather.
Just as a kid, I just knew I loved being part of your family. But as an adult, I appreciate even more what you and Kathy created together. There was so much love in your home, and I'm grateful that I got to be a part of it. Thank you for letting me be your second daughter. Thank you for all the memories, all the laughter, all the ribs, and for being such an important part of my life. I love you. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, Lee. Thank you for everything that you do for our family and for the boys. You're obviously their favorite person in the world, and it's it's very clear where they feel most comfortable in this world, and love to be over there and take up your time and effort and energy playing, or just having them make their food for them, and they just have so many great memories already of your house, and I just love that is their childhood, is the idea that grandfather's place is like the best place in the world. So happy Father's Day, and if you ever need any stock tips, we have a great portfolio that we'd be willing to give you some tips on. So have a great Father's Day.
Well, happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, Dad. Wish we could be there, but this is so awesome that Katie's putting this together for you, and Katie and Ken, and that we can celebrate you and all the wonderful things you've done for our family.
Happy Father's Day, Dad. I love you. Thank you so much for all of the things that you do for us, all the ways that you show us that you love us, and we're so lucky, all of us, to have you. And I hope that on this Father's Day you can feel that love coming back tenfold, and I hope that's how it always feels. Love you.